guys, this is Miss Holly. I really quickly this morning wanted to jump on here and explain some things about the quadrilaterals that you've learned if you've already watched Miss White's video on all of the features of each type of quadrilateral and what makes something a quadrilateral. If you haven't watched that, go back to the YouTube channel, watch it first. And this is kind of going to explain to you how those quadrilaterals work together, how they're connected in a different type of way. Okay. Really quickly, quadrilaterals. We're going to just start at the top of our chart here. A quadrilateral is simply a polygon with four sides. Now remember, guys, a polygon is a closed shape. If it's an open shape, that does not make it a polygon, and it's a whole different category. Today we're focusing on these. So a quadrilateral is a polygon with four sides. That prefix quad means four. So anytime you see something with quad, you know that you're dealing with something that pertains to the number 4. So quadrilaterals have four sides. That's it. That's the only thing that they have to be called that. So we're going to be a little bit more specific with our shapes. Now if you notice my quadrilateral, it could go two ways. We're going to jump over to this side first because it's the shorter distance. This is a trapezoid. A trapezoid is a quadrilateral, which means it has four sides, but it has one pair of parallel sides. If you notice the markings on this shape, these are parallel sides. Parallel means that they will never ever cross. It's kind of like the L's in the word parallel. They will never ever cross over one another. They run alongside each other forever and ever and always, and they will never run into one another. A trapezoid is a quadrilateral, has the four sides, and only one pair of parallel sides. One cool thing about a trapezoid, now they can be different shapes. It could be longer on one end. It could be something a little bit differently shaped about it, but you will always have the parallel sides. Cool thing about a trapezoid, one thing to remember it, I say that TR at the beginning. I know another shape that begins with that sound. If I extend my trapezoid, if I extend those arms up, it creates a triangle. So an easy way to remember if you're looking at a trapezoid is to see, does it look like it might be the base of a triangle? Just a little trick. Okay, now we're going to go back up to the top of our chart. Quadrilaterals, we know, four-sided shape, four-sided polygon. Let's go down this side. This is the side that gets a little bit interesting because there's a lot of shapes that come from a quadrilateral. A parallelogram is also a quadrilateral, four sides, but opposite sides are parallel, parallel meaning they never ever cross. There are two pairs of parallel sides. The top and bottom are parallel, and both sides are parallel, meaning they will never cross each other. Opposite sides are also congruent. Congruent is a word that we use in math that means identical. These sides are equal. They are the same. This top side is the same as the bottom. This side is equal to this side. Okay, so not only are they parallel, they're equal. So a parallelogram continues to grow into other shapes. This shape is one you're familiar with. You've worked on this shape for several years now. A rectangle is a parallelogram, so it has four sides, and opposite sides are parallel. Opposite sides are also equal. What makes a rectangle a little more specific than a parallelogram is the four right angles. Notice how there are perfect squares in the corners of my shape. A right angle forms a perfect square. Right angles have 90 degrees. Okay, we remember learning about that earlier this year. Right angles have 90 degrees. So a rectangle is a parallelogram. It's also a quadrilateral. If you notice, if they come from each other, they also share the same properties, okay? Parallelogram, it goes out another way. It can also become a rhombus. A rhombus is a parallelogram, so that means it's a quadrilateral with four sides, and two pairs of those sides are parallel and congruent. The difference in a rhombus and a rectangle. Notice there are no right angles, but all of the sides are equal. A rhombus is sort of like a square that has been slightly tilted, okay? Your angles are not right, but all of the sides are equal, and they are parallel to the opposites, okay? Finally, we have the square. The square has lots of properties, and it is also, if you notice, at the very bottom of our chart. So a square is a quadrilateral. It has four sides. A square is a parallelogram, meaning that opposite sides are parallel. Opposite sides are also congruent. Congruent means equal. A square is also a rectangle because there are four right angles. A square is also a rhombus because the sides are also congruent. So a square possesses all the properties of the shapes above it, okay? I really like this chart for that reason. It kind of helps us to remember if I'm thinking of a shape and I can't remember all of the properties, I know that it shares the properties of everything that is above it. So really quickly to recap, quadrilateral, 4 sides. It's a polygon, it's a closed shape. That's really all something has to have to be called a quadrilateral. Trapezoid has 4 sides and only one pair of parallel sides. If you notice, he's kind of over here by himself because there's not a lot of things that connect from him, okay? He has the 4 sides, he has one pair of parallel sides, but that's about it. Also remember our trick that a trapezoid looks like the base of a triangle. Quadrilaterals. Another type of quadrilateral is a parallelogram. Parallelogram has opposite sides parallel and opposite sides that are equal. A rectangle is a parallelogram and a quadrilateral, but it also has 4 right angles. Right angles, remember, are 90 degrees. A rhombus is a type of parallelogram that has 4 congruent sides. Congruent means equal. So it is a parallelogram, but instead of just having opposite sides equal, all of the sides are equal. And our square that has all the properties of everyone above him, quadrilateral, 4 sides, parallelogram meaning opposite sides are parallel, 4 right angles like the rectangle, and 4 congruent sides like the rhombus. All right, guys, that was a really, really quick review of quadrilaterals. Please make sure that you're watching the videos on YouTube as your teachers post them. Check out the lesson plans. There are lots of different videos and links to things that would help you get a little bit more review and practice with these shapes.